Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Weir. I'm in the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence here at Ingram Micro, here to talk to you about a timely topic that is frequently confused when it comes to identity in the digital space. That is IAM, Identity and Access Management, versus MFA, Multi-Factor Authentication. Now, to understand the difference between these two things, we first have to understand digital identity. So, digital identity is how you are, who you are when you're in a digital environment. The core of it, of course, is the identity, such as a username or something signifying an account. Next, after that, come the factors of authentication. We're calling it MFA. Hopefully, it's MFA at this point. It might be a single factor like a password, but hopefully, it's something like a password and a time-based one-time password, TOTP, or something along those lines. So that there's more authentication, just a password to say, hey, this person is who they say they are. So once the identity has gone through multi-factor authentication and passed, then you go to a step called single sign-on. This is your Okta, your Microsoft Entra, Google has their own version, where there is shared app access. So you probably understand this intuitively. You go to something that's along the lines of My Apps. There's a bunch of tiles there. You click on that tile to get to that app without having to log in a second time. That's shared app access. On top of all that is identity and access management, which controls all the other layers of this picture and more on top of that. So identity and access management, what is its real purpose on this big shell we have here? It's to give the right person the right access at the right resource at the right time. Not giving anyone any more access than they absolutely need to perform the function they need to perform, their job, recreationally, what have you, and then centrally manage and protect all of it dynamically. Not just we set it up one time, but we watch for behaviors and session policies and that sort of thing. It makes a little more sense what I just said there if we look at the process of authentication. So on our right side, we have a resource that someone is trying to get into. And on our left side, we have an identity source that that resource is trying to access. So first, there's a login attempt. So a username and a factor have been put in. The resource says to the identity source, are they any good? So then the identity source says back, all right, that looks right. Give me another factor. So then the resource says, here is the second factor. The MFA has been put in, a time-based one-time password or something has been put in. Does this check out? Goes back to the identity source. The identity source says, that looks correct. Grant them a session with conditional access. Remember I said the ability to change that access dynamically is part of what's an identity access management solution. Next, we have another login attempt, which in this case is sort of in quotation marks, but a login attempt where the user that's already logged in wants to do another part of this resource, something else within their SSO. This is the SSO part of things. The identity source says, yep, okay, that's within the scope of their SSO policies. So they're allowed access there too. But then there can also be one more signal sent across, which is if there's a misbehavior. The identity source can say, all right, this person has misbehaved, change their session policy. Maybe you log them out. Maybe make them use another factor to get to the next page called a step-up authentication, something along those lines. This would be the process of digital identity. When we talk about MFA, obviously the part we're talking about when we talk about MFA is MFA. Here's a second factor, here's a third factor, what have you. Does that check out? Identity access management, of course, is the other half of it on the identity source. It is that we're saying check your authentication again, grant them SSO. And that is the main identity access management, what it strictly is. Your modern identity application management, identity access management suites are going to include the behavioral portion too, because there's more pieces of IAM than just that. They're going to say they misbehave, change their session. But IAM, besides being just a bubble of the authentication part, a full IAM suite includes your usernames, includes your factors, includes the SSO. All those things that are in the resource are being logged into pieces of the identity and access management process. There's even more stuff to identity access management than that. There's lifecycle management, the birth, death of an account. There's workflows and automation so that when users are being added, deleted, or taking certain actions, there are other things that the suite causes to happen automatically without user intervention. There's self-service. Some people can think of it as like a customer identity access management solution where the person is able to make their own account. User makes their account based on what they enter in fields and criteria. It creates an appropriate access for them on the back end. That's the SIAM I have there below. Identity governance and access. There's a whole bunch of things that identity and access management does other than just usernames and passwords and other than just that multi-factor, that MFA of saying here's the second factor. It manages everything together. Now, if we want to look at that from a product perspective, what do I need to have in my environment? This is about what it looks like. So if you're looking at your identity source, most common old school identity source, just on-prem Active Directory, right? That's identities, that's usernames. and also passwords added to that. If you want to put on MFA, one of the more common ones people look to for that is Duo. It's deployed widely all over the place. And people are very used to using that 6-digit code where it's delivered by an app or a token or something like that. But if you're talking about identity and access management, you're talking about something more like Okta or perhaps Entra or one of the other identity access management providers that rolls in all the stuff below it into one package and the more, as we pointed out before. You'll notice SSO is kind of grayed out. We're at a point in the development of technology where very rarely is SSO put out as a standalone technology anymore. But I want to leave it there so that our flow we talked about at debating makes sense. If that was confusing to you, if you want to know more, if you want to talk brands, products, implementations, assistance, like that kind of thing, let us help you. So there's a number of resources available at Ingram Micro to help you out. Scan that, you'll go straight to our bookings page, which is how you can improve your cybersecurity practice with one of our experts. We are divided into areas of expertise. Obviously, I'm here for identity and access management. We have other people there for other areas, say like SASE and zero trust access and those sorts of things. Also, for all our brands, we have a security line card, which is you can find by going to linecards.com. You can schedule time with us, as I said, from that QR code. We also have solution design specialists who are available on a call if you have SDNS support. Expand your service capabilities with us as your partner. And of course, all of our resources are available on our new Xvantage platform. Feel free to email me as well, michael.weir@ingrammicro.com. Make sure to have yourself a great day and realize the promise of technology.